Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday night. It's time for your favorite Alabama show with the greatest content out there. You know how we do it. It's the Bama Standard. Before we get rocking and rolling, get in that comment section, that live chat. Let's get things rowdy tonight. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You know how we do it. Also, if you're watching the replay, shame on you for not being here with us live. But hey, we still value your opinions. Get in the comment section. Drop us your thoughts. We are always brought to you by Workspace Solutions. If your business needs a digital presence or a full-fledged marketing team, these are the guys you need coaching your business up. Visit them at workspacepros.com. And as always, to bring the best Bama content, we got an all-star panel led by none other than the undefeated, undisputed king of comedy and the star of the show, Steve Brown.
Hey, man, thank you so much for having me, man. You know why, of course, I wasn't going to come back, but you guys signed the major contract. And since I did come back, I brought our guest. I'll let you explain, who he is. But, my star power, he wanted to be on. He wanted to meet me. And now he's here. And we're going to talk about it later, but I'm just glad to be here. As a matter of fact, I brought both guests. It's because of me. It's because of me.
It is.
So, yeah, thank y'all so much for having me. And it's not because of Marvin. So, yeah, go ahead.
Look at God letting us ride his coattails.
That hat came from Buc-ee's with a brisket purchase and $20 on pump 3. You're going to leave me alone, man.
Don't forget about that big gulp. But the man who is not appreciative of the hate coming his way is a 1999 all-SEC linebacker. And when Ric Flair said, to be the man, woo, you got to beat the man, he is that man, Marvin Constant. And right next to him, senior analyst of Touchdown, Alabama Magazine, the man who keeps Paul Feinbaum employed and informed, Stephen M. Smith.
What's happening, people? Really, man? I knew that was coming back. I knew that was coming back. I knew at some point that was coming back.
Man, that's star power right there. That's recognition, Steve.
I love that guy.
Well, listen, Stephen M. Smith, you do many things great, and one of those things is being the perfect MC to introduce our guest, and we got some major star power here. If you would, introduce these two men we have with us tonight.
Boy, absolutely. Well, we got to start off with the OG of OGs in the room. This is none other than one of the greatest outside linebacking edge rushers to play here in the Paul Bear Bryant era. We're talking about a national champion in every sense of the word. He's now a coach at Alum University, getting these young men coached up right the Bama way, the college way, the tough way, the commitment way, the hard-nosed way. It's none better than to have EJ, the legendary Godfather Jr. right here, on the show.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And then the man across on the opposite side of the star of the show, none other Steve, the GOAT Brown. We have this man right here, whom I have a firm, I have the esteemed pleasure of covering, by the way, of Ramsey High School in Beham, one of the young up-and-coming knock-you-out defensive linemen who has had a phenomenal year, and I'm so proud of this brother right here. He's dedicated his life to Christ. I love his faith. I love his story. I love his work ethic, making Beham proud. TK3, Tim Keenan in here. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
All right, Newbie. What's up, Fire Noob?
Whoa. Don't do that.
We gotta represent 8 o'clock. We gotta represent.
Don't come on here with all that. EJ, we're gonna ask y'all to leave now. Don't do that.
All right, we can put you out. We don't have a problem with you. Have a nice day.
So you want to come and mess with me, Steve? Like you see, I got backup. You ain't even know.
Hey, man.
Steve used to it. He used to get jumped on the playground all the time as a kid.
Shut up, Marvin.
Marvin. There you go, Marvin.
See, this was actually by design. So, Steve, I'm sorry, brother, but we had to do it. Had to represent.
I can't believe this, man. Hey, man, but you know what, man? Even though these two brothers came in on the wrong side of 1911, I'm proud of them, man. We got a legend, then we got a legend in the making, man. And I can't be no happy. I can't, man. So, yeah. Other than that one mistake, they good with me. They good.
We still love you with that A in the middle. It's just okay.
Well, Tim, we're going to start things out with you. We know we only have you for a limited amount of time, so we're going to make it count. We're going to go around the room, ask you a few questions, and let you be on the highlight reel for a minute. So, first, I'll just start things out. Then we'll go to Stephen Smith, then to Marvin, and then we go to Steve Brown, and then the College Football Hall of Fame member, representee EJ Jr. will get his shot. But I'd like to ask you first, let's talk about your evolution. It's been nothing short of remarkable. Lank has been the banner of the team all season, but for you personally, what has it meant for your growth and your development? Because you came out in a huge way this year. You put college football on notice to let them know there is a monster in Tuscaloosa up front. What has that meant to you?
It's definitely been a God-given privilege as far as to just be in that space and have that opportunity. And I just try to show with my play how grateful I am that God, blessed me with that type of opportunity because he felt like I was, ready for it. But it just took time to where I realized I had to stop, being a baby and get over some of my old ways to, really step up to the plate and, want better for my life. And we, during fall camp, we have a lot of speakers come, and the most profound speaker to me was Shepard. And one of his quotes was like, he said, "You're going to have to pay regardless, so you might as well go and pay on the front end." So I took that and ran with it, and I just been trying to pay on the front end for, all the whole time. But yeah, that's just been that whole deal. Just grateful to especially be from the state of Alabama, being from Birmingham, having guys like DJ Dale, Quentin Williams, Deron Payne, Marcel Darius, all those type of guys come before me and have some big shoes to fill. I appreciate the pressure. I appreciate the privilege.
Yeah, no doubt. And one of the things that you kind of mentioned is best on best, and you get excited about that opportunity. And then on January 1st, the Rose Bowl, you had the opportunity to go up against one of the best offensive lines in the nation. You're pretty excited about going against the best, but when they made the announcement who Michigan will be facing, they weren't too thrilled. But for this game, for you, what excites you about this opportunity to go up against that offensive line that's got a lot of pop going in?
It's just really just grateful to be able to play the game because a year ago I remember one, we weren't in this position, and two, I was watching from the sideline. So just to be able to go out there and then go out there as a starter, it just means a lot as far as all my hard work I done put in. Glory to God, but we ain't come this far just to come this far, and I'm pretty sure they just was kind of like caught off guard or whatnot from us getting into the playoffs. But Michigan, they have a great team, good coaches over there. They got a good plan that they scheming up to go against us, and it's going to be a great competition come January 1st.
No doubt, no doubt.
So you're not going to give us a Duran, a Quentin Williams moment?
Well,
He's going to give you a Tim Keenan moment.
Myself.
Now, Tim, I know you mentioned that you appreciate the pressure, but also the opportunity. And you brought up some of the biggest names that have come through Birmingham to play on that D-line for Alabama. When you look at Marcel Darius, and you look at Deron Payne, DJ Dale, Quentin Williams, all those guys you mentioned, what was the pressure you felt like coming from that, seeing how these guys from the Ham, they put on, and here I am stepping into a shot where I could do the same thing, but kind of put my own spin on it. What did you think of that? Like, what did that stem as pressure for you to hold your own and show that you do belong here?
Just the simple fact where, to get offered by Alabama, to get offered by the top school in the nation, it speaks volumes because I got offered my freshman year. And deep down inside, to be honest, it was always Bama. And when I would go on recruiting visits, it was to see like, okay, why shouldn't I pick Bama? What's so different about your school? The reason why I shouldn't go to Alabama. And no matter where I went, they always talked about, Alabama, like, or why you ain't committed to Alabama, or why you didn't commit here and stuff like that, So I was like, dang, I should have just went to Alabama instead of coming to see what this school talking about. And it came down to the point where it was like, do I want to go somewhere where I can play right away and, you know, pretty much not develop into the player I've developed into today, or should I go to somewhere where it's going to be the best of the best? And so I know if I beat the best of the best and I'm in the best of the best position, then the sky's the limit. But in order to do that, I had to, you know, sacrifice some things and put God at the throne of my life instead of myself.
Trust the process.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, you know, I'll be honest with you. You know, I went to Alabama. I committed early. I went on the rest of my recruiting visits for the free food and festivities. Hey, listen,
See?
once in a lifetime opportunity. You got to take advantage now.
See?
Yeah.
But I will say this, you know, looking at this matchup you all have with Michigan, it's a great opportunity not only to take that next step, but to also put the nation on notice for what's to come, not only this postseason, but next year, you know, being a younger player. So you have that opportunity. And we all know what Michigan likes to do. You know, I've been looking at some of the tape on them. They like to run that off tackle. They like to run the power. You know, that's what they're going to try to do first. They're going to try to run the ball, set up that play action pass. They don't take a lot of deep shots. So it's going to be very pivotal that we stop that run, because if we stop that run, it's going to put them in compromising positions to where that play action pass will no longer be a threat. So going into this, you know, what's your thought process knowing that running the ball off tackle is their bread and butter?
I just know, you know, I got faith in my brothers that we go out there, we execute the plan. Everybody just do their job. No one, you know, try to, like Kool-Aid say, you ain't got to be special. You know, you got to do nothing special to be special. So everybody just execute. Like, if I got this 2-eye, I'm playing this 2-eye. And so I know my linebackers or my safeties, they're going to fill that gap. So that's why I'm going to hold that double team or, you know, do what I need to do to make sure, you know, my teammates successful and everybody in a great position to be successful.
You just made me have a flashback. I played with this guy by the name of Kenny Smith.
Oh,
Kenny would never be what Kenny's supposed to be. He was a defensive tackle. Kenny out there in a wide 9. I'm like, dude, you let this whole tackle and guard chip and get up to me. Oh man, I seen something. I'm gonna need you to see the gap you're supposed to be in, where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there.
Yeah, I'm already knowing how you get with that.
He hasn't healed from that, Tim. He talks about this about every other episode.
Every other episode. Yeah.
But Tim, I got one final thought on my end, Tim. Just the growth that you've seen from Freddie Roach as your position coach, but also having Kevin Steele back in the building. What has that meant for you? The growth of Freddie Roach running this defensive line, and then the return of Kevin Steele, kind of bringing that bite and that fire back to this defense.
It hits, like, the situation hits differently when you know your coaches care. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, they're not just doing it just to, you know, make sure they keep their job. They're doing it because they care for the betterment of you. Just as far as, like, Coach Rose, it was more of a fire this year. It was more of a grit. And as far as, like, my development, he's been a great part and very instrumental in my my progress. And Coach Steele bringing that old school nasty, like, we finna take it to you no matter what. Because I don't know, y'all ain't heard Coach Steele pregame speeches, but man, Coach Steele how you want to run through the wall just right then. So just having them two guys I'm very grateful. I'm glad God placed them as my coaches. You know, just being able to learn from them and absorb all the knowledge that I need to know.
Well, you know, with me, I felt like my coaches cared about the team more than they cared about me, because they never would put me in the game, and I never understood that. But listen, I've heard and I've read that you're in the church, and that's a really good thing, man. You don't hear that coming from a lot of young brothers. And I don't know, can you talk about that? Because I was in the church, but you notice I said I went to one of them churches where they be running, jumping, turning flips, throwing chicken. You know, one of them churches where we go Sunday morning and get out that Wednesday evening. So my question is, what church did you go to, and how long do you think church should last? Because mine, you know, we still in church. I just took a break. Go ahead.
So the church I go to when I'm in Birmingham is All Nations Church by Jonathan Wood Sr. He's, you know, my overseer there. But the church in Tuscaloosa, I go Cornerstone Full Baptist with Freddie Washington. And as far as with me, I feel like they both be about an hour, hour and a half, hour 15. You know, nothing too crazy. You know, if it's because with the word, you know, of course you're gonna read from the text, then you're gonna give your commentary, basically the breakdown of it. You to say what the word mean, then you because you know God he speaks in kind of metaphoric, you know, symbols and stuff like that. So you just help break it down. You know, at the beginning they gonna sing about 3-4 songs. At the end, you know, offering and all that. So yeah, they're gonna get how you gonna have time to hoop and holler, run around, fall out.
Right.
You know, go
Set
get
yourself
the
on fire.
curtain, you know.
So
stuff
before
like
I get
that.
at it for my last question, how many times y'all take up Auburn? We do at least 4 times, and I don't know why.
Well,
I'm just wondering. I'm just asking.
Twice at the most.
Yeah, we
Just
at
at the
4.
beginning for people that you know at the beginning of church. Then you know some people sometimes get there, you know, kind of late, and they still want to sow that seed and still want to tithe and offering. So they
Yeah, I
send it
get
around
it.
again.
Yeah, we get tithes and offering, pastor offering, the building fund, and we still in the lobby at the Holiday Inn. I still ain't seen no building. But go ahead, somebody else go ahead.
EJ, save us.
We overlooked the little Q dog, and he's still lost in the woods. But TK, you know, the word does say, "For much is given, much is required." And getting ready for this Rose Bowl, how do you see yourself preparing? Because there's a lot of preparation. When I was at Alabama, we went to 4 bowl games, we went to 3 Sugar Bowls and a Cotton Bowl, and we would get back on the 21st and then head out probably around the 27th and spend some time get the wild oats out and then get focused to play. How do you prepare going into the game? Oh, with a little caveat. You're playing against my grandson, who's one of the backups for their linebacker. He's 2 years ago, Alabama played in Cincinnati, and my son played. So now you're playing against my grandson. Please whip that ass. He's one of the backups for Junior Colson. But how do you prepare for a game like this? I always try to stay even keel. Because this game is no bigger than the other. It's just another game that you have to prepare for, but you still have to turn that gear up. What do you do, TK?
Just about the stage and thinking about, okay, all them times where we was running and I ain't want to. All them times where I had to push through that 4th quarter program, like the summer, just them sprints, and then just having pride about, doing your job, just trying to do my job the best. That's how I approach it. Like, I know my teammates depending on me to hold down the middle and hold down my gap. So as far as that, just keep the main thing. Don't, Philippians 4:12, I know what it is to have plenty. I know what it is to be in need, but I'm content with, the spirit of the Lord. So meaning I got my highs, I got my lows, but no matter what, I'm going to stay the same because I know where my strength comes from.
All right. Well, Marvin basically brought up a great point for this game, especially on the defensive side. I always believe it when it comes to defense, the 3 Ps: penetration, pressure, and push. But as long as you do your job, everybody does their job. Create havoc in that backfield, man, by doing what you're supposed to do when those double teams, when you do your job, everything else falls in place. So my advice is to just be focused. Give everything to God, give the glory to God, and every play that you play to His glory, and everything else will fall in place.
That is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
That and play on the other side of the line of scrimmage, because again, it's a game of down and distance. When that offensive coordinator is in 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2 or even 2nd and 4 or 5, his play calling is he has a lot more options than he would if it was 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 9. Keep them in long distance situations. Play the sticks, know where you're at on the field. That's the most important piece of this. And I mean, y'all did a great job of that against Georgia. So I'm looking forward to seeing y'all take that next step and even more domination against
and Michigan. Ain't no Georgia.
Right. And last talk Brother Freddie into letting y'all stay another hour or 2. It ain't gonna hurt.
And he get in, he do his thing, he say what he need to say, hit the spirit like it need to hit the spirit, then we had to get on. But plus, like, it end right in time because, after them games, we still got, our Sunday workouts and stuff like that. So it end right in time. That way I'm able to go, spend time with the Lord, but still, handle my priorities with, the team.
I love it. Well,
TK, good luck, much blessings. Hey, and just ball out.
Yeah, and
Yes,
root
sir.
to
I appreciate you, Nuke.
Everything
Right, man.
y'all got. Listen, man, I want to see Bama
my
on
God.
full display, baby.
About to get naked.
Nuke,
No.
just do your job, Nuke. Don't be
Yeah.
listening to what Marvin be
Yeah,
saying.
and last
Yeah,
but
bro.
not least, root to the Qs. Root to the Qs.
J5 on the way.
Tim, man, we greatly appreciate your time for coming on tonight. We enjoyed having you on. Before you get out, I'd like for EJ to give you some advice. This is a college football Hall of Fame member right now, and I don't think anybody on this panel can give us great advice as he can in terms of where you are right now and then long term. EJ, would you mind speaking a word over him? And then Tim, we'll let you go, brother.
You know, God has already given you the spirit of accomplishing. You know, like I said, for much is given, much is required. But as you go out on that field, you know, and you look at everything, take everything in. Because you don't get to say, when we played, we didn't have those national championship games per se. The bowl game that everybody voted. You all get a chance to do something that nobody else did. You beat a team that had 29 straight wins. We had 28. They broke our record. So now the cycle begins again. But continue to lift each other up when things go bad, pick each other up. Don't get too high, don't get too low. But most of all, man, stick together. Defense wins championships. Offense win games, but defense wins championships. And it starts with you guys in the trenches. If you guys do your job, everything else is going to fall in place.
Yes, sir. I appreciate them words.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, Nuke.
Man, we greatly appreciate you, Tim. Do your thing. We know you're bringing home another natty. We're excited to see you hold that trophy up. Before you go, tell people how they can find you on social media, then we let you go.
You can follow me on Instagram at Tim Keenan 3, TimKeenan, the number 3.
Tim, one more thing. Make sure Jaheim continue that weight goal, man. Make sure Jaheim continue that transformation.
Most definitely. I gotcha.
All right,
Follow
man.
me on Black Planet.
Always something with you, man.
Man, he'll never
Yo,
forget
yo,
this
yo.
interview. We appreciate you, Tim. Roll Tide, brother.
Roll
Roll
Tide.
Roll Tide, Tim.
I think he rededicated his life tonight to what? I don't know exactly, but he made a decision.
Hey man, that's a capper, man. That's a good brother. That's a good brother.
While we
no points with Mr. Junior, don't do it. We trying now. You want to say, oh, he's a captain.
Hey man,
I
1911 was a
do it
good
like
year,
that,
man.
You know, just make
1911
sure
was
you
a
see
great year.
that. You know, not too many doggies got that, man.
See that?
But I do know. One is your predecessor, better known as Ozzie Newsome, who's been in several. So,
Yeah.
I give credit where credit due, and my brother would love you because he's your brother.
That is.
Hey, Steve, you talked about taking an offer at least 2 or 3 times. Well, we got a little bit of offering that came our way while we're interviewing that young man. And started us out was Kelly Weathersby, $9.99. Roll Tide, everyone. Thank you, EJ and Tim, for being here. Then to follow her, the Inquisitive Prince, $5. It's been a joy watching your growth. Big Tim, bring home the natty, please. Then we got Adam Lampanrello, Michigan's defensive coordinator. Jesse Mentor is going to throw complex schemes at us to confuse Milroe. What would be your offensive game plan? Who wants to take that? Imagine that. The star student.
I know I've got some thoughts on that too, but okay.
All right, Marvin, you do it, and then we'll let EJ round it out.
First and foremost, Michigan shouldn't dictate what we do on offense. That's first and foremost. Let's make that clear. Mm-hmm. You should run the offense to the strengths. And again, I've said it all year: screen passes, draws. You know, going out in 4 and 5 wide receiver sets. You know, getting those linemen to make those go out in wide splits so that we do have that option in the middle of the field if Milroe decides to take off. It's just another element that defense has to respect. And if they're in cover 1 or cover 0, you're talking about chunk plays, 20, 30 yards here and there. So I would say stick to doing what you do. Don't let Michigan dictate what you do. Do what we do best and understand that Michigan doesn't have the athletes that Georgia or any other school have on that level. So let Milroe do what Milroe does. Let the offense do what the offense does.
The biggest advantage Alabama has right now in any bowl game Have you not known Nick Saban have 1 month of preparation? If he got ready for Georgia in 1 week, knowing what Kirby Smart and them do you know what kind of game plan he's going to put together for Michigan? A team who basically still has not to only defend the 10, they still got to defend 11. It's very hard to defend offense when you got a running and throwing quarterback. He may not want to run as much, but he still has that capability. So now you can't double cover anybody, because when you take that safety out to try to double cover, that leaves that quarterback basically running. If you play man coverage, he's gone. If you play zone coverage, he's going to kill you, because those receivers run great routes. He's going to beat them vertically. He's going to throw underneath passes, and he's going to get those defense. They got to start coming after him to a point where, okay, we're going to beat you 1-on-1.
And then that's when you get that deep ball over the top, baby.
And here's the main thing. Michigan, like Georgia, Michigan has not been challenged all season. This was the worst version of Ohio State they saw. Like Kyle McCord was no C.J. Stroud. Right. Michigan has not faced a quarterback like Jalen Milroe all year. So not only just him, you look at this is a game hugely for, I said against Georgia, Jam Miller could be something. He showed up against Georgia. Here's another game where Jam Miller shows up. Here's a game where, remember the 2015 playoff where nobody saw O.J. Howard, and then he popped on the scene against Michigan State and Clemson. Here's Amari Niblack's chance right here in the college football playoff from a tight end perspective. So if I'm Tommy Rees, you don't do anything different like Marvin mentioned, but you kind of want to introduce maybe Amari Niblack a little bit more. You probably want to introduce a little bit more Kendrick Law. You kind of want to introduce a little bit more Kobe Prentice. You don't change things, but you definitely want to introduce a couple more guys.
You know what? In my perspective is I'm right on board with EJ. You gave Nick Saban too much time to play, and Marvin said it best. Just be who you are. Be who you've been being. Don't change. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't change the recipe. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm really excited, man. Tommy Rees really doesn't need to change a thing. Probably add a couple of wrinkles to the playbook or whatever, and that's it, man. And let us just go out there and dominate.
I mean, look at it holistically. When you look at Michigan's season, I don't remember right off the top of my head, but I think their opponents have a combined record of 75 and 73.
Right.
So it's not like they face some world beaters this season. So we don't truly know how good or bad they are. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we match up. But I think we have the advantage across the board.
I got a couple of key points before we got a guest to come on. A very special guest, by the way. And to kind of wrap these things up, a couple of key points. It starts up front. For the past 2 seasons, Michigan, no surprise, has won the Joe Moore Award. This year, they're not finalists, but they're still considered some of the nation's best. But I'll remind everybody, they lost Zach Zinter, and that was a monumental blow to this team. They have talent and depth, but they're not facing the average front four. Now, here's the thing, Stephen M. Smith, you mentioned they haven't faced adversity. We have a wealth of experience. We've actually faced 2 of the top 4 Joe Moore Award finalists in Georgia and in LSU. Now, constant pressure from our front line is going to cause major problems for McCarthy. You saw what we did up against Georgia. We did have a little bit of trouble with Jaden Daniels. I admit that, but J.J. McCarthy is not the same quarterback, and he also doesn't have the type of wide receivers Daniels has. They really lack explosivity in that area. So don't forget what we also did to that run game of Georgia. I don't see us having an issue with what Michigan brings to the table either.
Well, Justin, you look at it. Their number 1 receiver only has, a little over 600 yards this season. Blake Corum, the running back, he has a little over 1,000 yards. If you're considering the number 1 team in the country, in most situations, you'd have at least 1 receiver with 1,000 yards, if not 2. You'd have multiple backs at 1,000 yards, if not 2. So, again, it goes back to the level of competition they've played this year as to why they truly haven't been exposed for who they really are, which is an average team in an average conference.
But, Marvin, the thing is, man, you guys are making a lot of good points. Everybody is. But the bottom line is, if they play to the Bama standard, we will kick behind. Simple as that. They don't play to, because sometimes I've seen us in the past when we were an immature team, we played to the level of the competition. Yeah. Now it's everything's on the line. Just play to your standard, and I think we will be fine.
Well, folks, I'm going to push pause into action. Trust me, you want to hang around too because we have a very special edition of Constance Chaos later. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when we bring it on. But we have someone who's very special to this show, very special to us, and someone who actually is here collecting some things that were actually wrongfully taken from the Bryant Museum. Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Paul Bryant Museum and one of our biggest supporters and fans, Olivia Arnold. Welcome in.
Hey, Olivia. Hey, Olivia.
I noticed that the star of the show over there, Steve Brown, looked a little bit nervous when he heard that I was on here. Probably because he's afraid I'm going to tell EJ that I caught him trying to sneak that 79 Sugar Bowl trophy out of my office.
I didn't even know you was going to be here. What's your pretty self? How you doing?
That's blasphemy. How dare you?
And he wanted it to drink Kool-Aid out of it, Mr. Junior. So that's even worse.
Olivia, I promise you, I didn't know you were going to be here with your gorgeous self. How are you?
Cool. You can ask Justin. I've been brushing my hair since about 10 o'clock this morning, getting ready.
You look amazing.
You wouldn't know what that's like.
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry, Steve. I forgot we're in mixed company here. People can hear me.
I'm not only a client, I'm also the president.
And now he grabbed the hat. Man.
Hey, man, it's bowl season, man. I'm ready to roll with the tide.
I hear you. Well, Olivia, we greatly appreciate you being with us. It's been a while since we've seen you, and we finally got you to grace the screen. Tell us why you're here. You got a couple of events coming up. We need the people to know what you got going on, how they can attend, and what they got to look forward to.
Yeah, so we've got the annual holiday open house at the Bryant Museum coming up this Friday. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So we're going to make sure that we're open and having it for as long as possible so as many people as possible can attend. So it's going to be from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. We're going to have during the day, we're going to have activities and games and snacks and refreshments. In the evening, about 5 o'clock, we're going to have a gentleman that many of y'all probably are familiar with by the name of Big Al. That's going to be coming in and taking some photos. So if y'all want to come get your Christmas pictures made with Big Al, that's the perfect time to do it. We're all decorated for Christmas. And then from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, another gentleman that I know y'all are all familiar with, Trent Richardson's going to be there to sign autographs, take pictures, and just hang out with all the fans and all of our visitors.
I may do a drive-by.
Oh, absolutely. Come on. You can stay a little bit.
I may drive by because there's the Jeremiah Castile is putting the legacy of legends in Birmingham the next night. So I will be in the area. So I may just drop by Bryant Museum.
Hey, Mr. Junior, I'll be seeing you
we've got
Saturday.
the trophy from the Night of Legends that for Jeremiah's event that was held a couple of years ago. We've got that trophy in the museum. So you can come by and see that on display as well. And I'll see you on Saturday night as well.
Olivia, you know what? I might just come by. Now, I don't want to steal any Big Al's attention or anything like that. But I just might come by.
Well, listen, bring my trash can for my office back when you come.
Whoa, wait a minute.
No, not the trash can.
Are there any other items that we need to be made aware of, Olivia? Because
I think we need to search his house.
I mean, I don't know. Where's Nick Saban's COVID mask? Steve?
Didn't that just go on your Etsy for $500?
Steve.
I didn't expect any of this.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't expect none of this. And Olivia, I thought I was your favorite. You said I was the most handsome and all of that. You said I was. You named me the star of the show. You did. What happened?
No, under your heading, I think where you put that you were the star of the show. I'm just, I'm just trying to, help build up your ego a little bit.
You sure you want to try to pass yourself off as the Buffalo on that Aflac commercial with Nick?
Oh my
Me?
God.
No.
Well,
and
Olivia,
gentlemen, I
Adam
wanna make it-
Leporello here says you can tell it's a bad idea to piss off Olivia. Any truth to that?
Well-
Care to comment on that?
Most people haven't seen that side. I try to not let that out, but my family will tell you that sometimes it comes out.
Yeah, you know what? We understand because we have Marvin, and Marvin tends to piss all of us off. You know, so we do understand. Yeah, me being the same one here, and I keep everybody together because I'm the handsome one and I'm the star of the show. And I just do what I do to keep, the Bama Standard, the Bama Standard. Yeah.
Marvin's one of my former football players, and I get kind of protective of them.
Thank you.
Marvin, the guy with the Spanx.
Hey, look, you notice Marvin's got that houndstooth toboggan on too.
Yeah.
Why don't I have one? Why I need one?
They don't
Yeah.
have it in your size.
Never
Because
heard.
you
You
hadn't
got
brought.
bucket hat coming for you in the fall.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And can you get it customized like the star of the show on the side if you don't mind,
And if you
I
bedazzle
got a
it a little for him.
Sharpie.
ma'am?
I got a Sharpie.
That's what I tell you. I think this is my last night on the show. I'm gonna have to start.
Well, Olivia, we greatly appreciate you jumping on with us for a few minutes. We enjoy it, and we could not be more grateful for everything you've done for us. And hopefully we can come back soon. And this time I promise that we will keep Steve's hands handcuffed underneath the table while we do our
All right.
podcast. Is there
Hey,
anything else you'd like to add before we let you go?
I just want to say, all of y'all, it's been an honor working with all of y'all throughout the entire season. I think we've had a lot of fun and joked around a lot, and I maybe should clear up the air that Steve has not actually walked off with any of our items. We just like to mess with him. Well, I don't know. Now he looks a little bit nervous. Look, the dinner was provided. Okay, you didn't steal the food when y'all were there.
Okay, so Olivia, you said something about the entire cast, and I appreciate it. But can you take time, like a second or two, and just say something special about me?
No, you're special.
Hey, I think it's time for her to go.
You were definitely unique, and there's no one quite like you.
Told you, Marvin. I'm the star.
She just gave you a participation trophy, basically, man. Will you?
You're the Florida State of the group.
Yeah.
Okay, I quit.
Well, thank
Olivia,
you.
before you
ahead.
go, I'm looking forward to seeing you Saturday evening. So I'll see you Saturday.
Likewise.
All right, awesome. I'm looking forward to it. It was a great event a couple of years ago. I think it's going to be a really great event this year as well. Jeremiah always puts on a really good show, and his foundation does a lot of really good work.
I'm sad I missed the first one. I had knee replacement surgery 2 days before that, so yeah, that wasn't gonna work out. So.
I mean, that's a good excuse. I mean, that's
Yeah, that was a rough day.
Marvin, why is it every time I invite you to go somewhere with me, you having surgery? What's that about?
Too much football, man. Too much football.
I hear you. Well, thank you again. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me, and I'll see y'all before too long. I hate that Bo wasn't here. Guess he got that street named after him, and now he's too busy.
Yeah,
He is.
Olivia, I made this happen. I made this happen.
Me being on here?
Yeah, I
Or
made
the
it
show?
happen. I made it happen. I told the guys we have to have Olivia on here at once, and they was like, you know what, you're the star of the show. Let's make it happen. So
That's exactly how the board meeting went, Olivia. Word for word.
Yeah, Justin called me yesterday crying because he was afraid he couldn't deliver for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
I had an
for doing your
anxiety
job.
attack actually. So yeah.
Thank you for doing your job, Justin.
That's what I
Justin,
do.
not you, Justin, not you, man.
I do want to tell everybody Merry Christmas before I go. I hope y'all are blessed and get to spend time with your friends and your family, and thank you all for your friendship and your support over the years. I think EJ, I've known him for 20 something years now, so anyway, so thank you all, and thank you for having me on.
Glad to do it.
Love you, Olivia.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye. Roll Tide.
She loves me.
Roll
She loves
Tide.
me. I'm telling you, she
Roll
loves me.
Tide.
Roll
It's all
Tide.
about me. It's all
All
about
right,
me.
now it is time to stir the pots, and who better to do that
Marvin!
than Marvin Constant? And
MC.
let me go ahead and give you the background to this. Marvin likes to run his mouth, and he's been quite popular here as of late. Matter of fact, he had a nice little clip that has over 50,000 views right now. It didn't stop there. So we figured it's time for him to fire back at one of Michigan's own. Taylor Lewan has been running his mouth. He claims that Alabama is going to lose by double digits. He's seen enough film to know the Tide might as well not even show up. He's going to go ahead and throw his money down. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for Constant Chaos.
All right. Now, again, if you're willing to bet $1 million, more power to you. Like my mom always used to say, don't bet it if you can't afford to lose it. So I'm guessing he can afford to lose it because that money is pretty much gone at this point. That ain't coming back. Okay. Again, Michigan's opponent overall record is almost 500 across the board. You beat an average Ohio State team, an average Penn State team. When you look at the rest of the Big Ten as a whole, what do you really see in terms of performance? You know, they go to the championship game against Iowa, and I think Iowa's team total for that game was like, they were predicting like 7.5 points or something low. So anytime you go into a game and your opponent's only predicted to score a touchdown, that tells you the level of competition you're playing. Now, again, you look at Alabama. Alabama's opponent's record, I think it's 83-50 something across the board. Again, we beat number 1 Georgia. Yes, we lost to Texas, but again, Texas is sitting there at number 3. Beat Ole Miss with the high-powered offense. Beat LSU with the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. This team has done nothing but face adversity and overcame it. What adversity has Michigan faced this season? None. And when they get punched in the mouth by Bama, the way they're about to get punched in the mouth, I don't see it happening because in the words of some of the most famous boxers ever, everybody got a plan till they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
And I see that punch coming early and often. Michigan is about to learn why they say the SEC, it just means more because we're passionate about it. We own college football, okay? The South owns college football, and Michigan, you're about to be another notch on that belt, baby. I just don't see how they plan to match up front. I get it. You say your offensive line is the strength of your team, but they hadn't played a defense like they're about to play. So I'm telling you, buckle up, get ready to enjoy the ride, people. This team, I think they're destined to make a statement. Now, I told y'all in the SEC championship game that the score will not be a true reflection of the dominance. Now we're going to see them take that next step, and you're going to see more of a reflection of the dominance in the score this game because, again, Michigan doesn't have the personnel to stretch the field like Georgia does. Oh, we about to get us some this time. We're about to get us some. I can tell you that right now.
EJ, you can bring a powerful word, as you've already shown us earlier in the show. Pick up where Marvin left off. What kind of message do you have for Mr. Lewan as he is overconfidently declared Michigan the victors?
The famous words of Nipsey Russell. Back in the day, he said, spanking a child and making him learn is something I mustn't defend. Well, how can I make a child learn anything if I'm spanking him on the wrong end? See, if you beating him on his butt, he ain't knocking no common sense in him. And it's common sense ain't common. So right now we know that he might be missing a couple of things upstairs on that kind of statement, because first of all, you have to look, you cannot, and I repeat, you couldn't give Bear Bryant a month to get ready for you. Definitely can't give Nick Saban a month to get ready for you. And Alabama's strong suit is wanting to stop the run. And that's basically, we're going to force you to be one-dimensional. You stop the run, what are you going to go through? Georgia at least had a passing game. LSU had a passing game. Ole Miss had a passing game. I've not seen the passing game in Michigan. And they haven't had to try to come from behind, and they've been, like I said, they've been the big brother of the conference, and they've been bullying everybody. But, Ohio State is not the same Ohio State, since things are changing in that conference. And now you add more big boys to a conference, and you add the weak sisters to that conference. something's wrong. Because I mean, if really you're looking at the Pac-12 with Washington and USC and UCLA trying to go to the Big Ten, why didn't they want to come to the SEC?
Nobody want them problems.
They didn't want that smoke.
Also, I just want Michigan to know that Alabama's practicing indoors, so there's no way you can get our signs. So we'll be good. Guys, no way you can get our signs.
But Mr. Junior, to add to your point, Michigan's top 2 receivers, if you combine their yards for the season, still don't have 1,000 yards. They don't have the personnel to stretch the field. That's why I say you keep them in 2nd and long, 3rd and long, they're in trouble because they lean so heavily on that off tackle to set up that 2nd and short because they don't have the personnel to stretch the field. I'm telling you, if we keep them in 2nd and 8, 3rd and 8, it's going to be a long game.
Stephen Smith, you wanted to address this before we got on here. Now, I challenge anybody to show me exactly how much growth Michigan has actually made since the TCU debacle this past year. Is this not the same team? Now, a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon because they've beaten Ohio State consecutively. But this year, can you really look at that as a monumental victory? Because, to be honest with you, they had average quarterback play. They don't have the explosive offense that they've been accustomed to here as of late, outside of Marvin Harrison Jr., which is arguably one of the best receivers in the country. He got the Blitnikoff. But has Michigan closed the gap, or are we just giving them too much credit?
I'll say this, and going back to Ohio State game, the win there, they had Kyle McCord, who is no C.J. Stroud. He's no J.T. Barrett. He's no Cardale Jones. He's none of those guys that have come through Ohio State where Urban Meyer is concerned and now where Ryan Day is concerned. The only thing Michigan's got is Blake Corum. That's it. You take away Blake Corum, J.J. McCarthy, he's not athletic. I mean, he's a drop-back pocket quarterback. And when you're sending Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell at a drop-back pocket quarterback, good luck. Best wishes to you because he's not going to be able to escape the way a Jalen Milroe can when you look at Alabama. Now, going back to Taylor Lewan's statement, he mentioned this is not the 2010s anymore. Well, I'm sorry, Alabama played Michigan in 2019. And Alabama beat Michigan in 2019, 35-16. So I don't know where he got that statement from. Then he goes, well, Michigan's got better coaching. I'm sorry, Jim Harbaugh's missed half the season. Where's the coaching there? I mean, I get it. It's a great story of sign stealing and scandal and Michigan able to still work through all of that. But at the same time, you haven't played anybody. There's no challenge. There's no competition. I don't get what Taylor Lewan is saying. He's no longer in the NFL right now because the Titans let him go. So he's just doing his Bussin' with the Boys podcast. I don't get where Lewan is coming from.
Hey, Steve, I got a sign they can steal because that's what they about to get. Damn.
I'm excited, man. I'm super excited.
Now, we have had a lot of negative energy thrown this way the entire week. Well, actually, since last Friday, not just talking about statements from former NFL players, but the College Football Awards show this past Friday night. We were kept away from making All-American lists, and we were not given any awards. And we had the dudes to bring home the hardware. Now, this isn't anything to laugh at, which perfectly segues into our next segment with Steve Brown.
What's up, guys? First off, man, thank you for my segment. That was a great segue. This thing about the awards, man, at this point, I don't think the Alabama players really care. I think the eyes on the ultimate prize. Jalen Milroe, he spoke and said something about the Heisman Trophy thing. You know, they asked him what he feels. He's like, man, that's not important to me. What's important to me is getting that next championship. And honestly, you know, it's all it did was create more fire in the locker room and gave them more books and more material because we know, the Bama fans know, and the players know that we got the studs to have gotten a lot of those awards. We didn't get them For some odd reason, we don't know, but we're keeping our eye on the ultimate prize, and that supersedes every little individual reward, and that's the championship. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Let's just keep our eyes on the prize and roll tide.
My main thing, though, is I'm looking at the Palm Beach County Sports Commission that does the Lou Groza Award. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, there is no way you cannot give the Groza Award to the NCAA's all-time leading scorer in Will Reichard.
That was
But yet they found a way to not give it to him. And I'm like, so now you've got the Lou Groza Award and the Ray Guy Award that have both been exterminated from my list. I mean, the Ray Guy Award didn't give J.K. Scott what he rightfully deserved. And now here comes Lou Groza, just completely. That was just disgusting how you did Will Reichard like that.
Oh, yeah. It's sad.
That's why you take it out on your opponent.
I being a former player, I was selected to the All-American team a couple of times. And there's never always been a lot of Alabama players getting a lot of notoriety, even back in the day. And it was still about team. Because I'm still surprised how I got in the Hall of Fame, College Football Hall of Fame. I'm serious.
I'm not.
Talk about all the guys.
I've watched your film.
You talk about Marty Lyons, Barry Krause, Don McNeil, all guys who basically were part of those championship teams. We won championship teams because we were a team. It wasn't individuals. Yes, you may have some guys stand out, but when you really look at the whole picture, it doesn't matter. When you go down in the years to come, they're gonna say, were you an All-American or did you win a national championship? To me, when you got that ring, when you got that bling, and you can say we were one of the best teams in the country or the best team in the country, just like you can say the University of Alabama. I'm still trying to figure out, why does Ohio State put the in front of it? You can say Ohio State without the, but you can't say the University of Alabama without the. So anytime you say the University, you always say, you can't even stop saying the University of Alabama. So it's who you are, the brand that you market, and where you come from. And until they show me otherwise, they can give all the awards to all the other places just to give me that national championship trophy in the ring.
Well, see, the thing about it, they giving out awards, but we about to go take this championship. You can't deny what's destined for you. We about to go take this.
Well, it's getting closer towards the end of our show, but before we do that, as always, I'd like to give Stephen Smith a chance to catch us up on what's going on. And we got some big news in terms of recruiting. If you missed the state championship the other day, you missed a treat, because the star of that show is coming to Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, let's turn it over to Stephen Smith for the depth chart.
As Justin just mentioned, folks, if you missed the Class 6A state championship of the weekend, the overall Super 7 in Tuscaloosa, you missed magic. I mean, you had Clay Chalkville against Saraland High School, which features two Bama five-star commits, Ryan Williams, the five-star receiver from Saraland, Jalen Mbakwe, the five-star quarterback for Clay Chalkville, but Jalen Mbakwe will play defensive back at Alabama. Clay Chalkville won the game 31-28, but both guys put on a show on the field. Ryan Williams had 11 catches, 240 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He set a Class 6A record and a overall Super 7 record as far as yards and catches are concerned. He caught 2 touchdown passes, ran for a touchdown, took an 86-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. This dude is something else. And I know when we look at the state of Alabama, we look at Julio Jones as the best player to come from this state in quite a long time, recruiting-wise. Ryan Williams is right there as well. I mean, this kid, you can't deny the talent that this kid is. And what's crazy, he was originally supposed to come out in 2025. He has reclassified to come out in this group right here, this 2024 group. He's done so much in high school that he could come out early. So when you talk to him, he said he's locked on to Alabama. He's not going anywhere else but Alabama. I know, according to a lot of people now, that he's going to sign in February versus December next week for signing day. And that's just to take his last couple of recruiting visits. One of those visits being Auburn, but I do not see Hugh Freeze flipping this young man. This man's locked in. He's in conversation with several guys on the team right now. Ryan Williams, this is a dangerous athlete. When you watch this kid play, there's a blend of Alabama receivers in his game.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we have a big super chat to get to. That's from none other than Jimmy the Bad Man Clay, one of the best fans that you will ever meet, one of the biggest fans of this network. $50 roll tide forever. Jimmy Clay, we greatly appreciate you. And not to be outdone, Adam Laparello, $10. EJ, in all honesty, do you think Saban is a better coach than Bryant? Oh, man, I think they're pretty equal. Go ahead, EJ.
I feel that they're pretty equal. The difference is now, and I had to give Kirby Smart some credit as well, what he did with those 29 straight. You're dealing now with the NIL. You're dealing with now the transfer portal. To be successful in this game today, where we still had the same players, you had 4 years to 5 years to play. You had those same group of guys, and they basically would grow through the process of playing to become champion. To do what Nick is doing now, when guys, if they don't get a chance to play, they want to go out, and then you got to bring in other guys. You're still recruiting quality high school kids. But that transfer portal and that NLI is putting a whole new twist in the game. To be successful in this day and age and be able to win and win constantly with, change of guards, because every team is different. Like Nick will always say, each team, each year is a different team. It's not the same one as before. It's a matter that when you get through with that season, you got to go back and re-recruit your own players and try to keep them, and then try to go out and fit pieces as well as high school kids to fit in that culture and fit in that system, because you can't just bring anybody in to fit in your culture and do what you ask them to do. Because to me, a lot of these kids, not to knock you, Marvin, back in the day where you all were privileged, but we basically earned a lot, and I think the mentality of these kids are, they are they're, so a lot of them are basically trained assassins who basically get paid to do what they do, which one of the things that bother me about the NIL, because I really would like to know what is the graduation rate of those players when they get through those 4 or 5 years, or even if they make it to 4 or 5 years. When you see a Shador Sanders making $4.5 million, okay, I hope he gets that degree, because he's been banged up, and the NFL does mean not for long, even if you get a chance to play in that league. I'd like to be Ohtani making $700 million over the next 10, but I came out way too early to make that kind of money. So I would give the edge to Nick now because of the way that the game is being played. You can't beat up people on the field like we used to. You can't touch the quarterback without a doggone penalty being called. So the game has changed. The game has changed quite a bit. So I would have to give the edge to Nick Saban right now.
I know that was a hard question to answer, but man, it had to be answered. And last but not least, Jamie Wilhelm, $9.99. All I want for Christmas is a national championship. That's what Santa is going to be bringing us very shortly. Before we close things out, I want to remind everybody about the programming we have on this fine channel tonight, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. We have The Final Whistle with Chris James, Dan James, Matt Caddell. We got Coach Smook and Ty Hayes and Lucian. And then tomorrow night, for all you who show up and show out every night here on Tuesday night, do the same tomorrow night for C.C. Payne with the Crimson Dynasty, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then the nightcap with none other than the legend himself, Mr. Strip, George Teague with Teague's Take. Him and his son, JT, will be bringing it home tomorrow night. So definitely check that out. We got a lot of great content headed your way leading up to the playoff game. Next week, we got a special guest. We'll always have special guests, but none other than WVUA's own lead reporter and anchor, Giselle Hood. She has actually helped us out a couple of times with interviews. She's interviewed Marvin Constant a few times. He's been the feature piece for several news stories, and she actually interviewed us when we've been over there. So we're bringing her here to add to the fun and excitement. But gentlemen, we have got to the end of the show. Let's go around the room so we can pop what we got so people can find us, starting out with Marvin Constant. Talk to us about 40 Plus Strong, where they can find you on your socials. Then we'll go to Stephen and Smith, Steve Brown, and EJ will close it out.
You're going to find me on Instagram. It's Constant45. My Twitter is Constant451. I'm easy to find. I'm always available. You know, if you're in your late 30s, 40s, or 50s, you're looking for a great resource to get in shape and just, again, help you, maintain that body, that physique that you want, that mental clarity that you want without going to the gym, doing all the crazy exercises. You go grab a copy of my book. That's $15 you'll ever spend. I promise you. I barely make money off the book because it's priced at a point to where Amazon makes most of the money. I just wanted to be a great resource for people to use who want to get back in shape in their 40s and 50s, and they want to still have those, baby. And I'm always available if you have questions. You can always reach me on Instagram or Twitter.
Stephen Smith.
Well, I know. Well, this week, we're actually on a rest week from In My Own Words this week. So we'll be back next week with the show, with it being signing day. So we're getting everything prepped for signing day next Wednesday. Alabama expected to bring in another good class. Now, of course, Marvin always says, show me on the field. I don't want to hear about this class. Show me on the field. But in terms of the classes, Alabama looking to bring in top-notch quarterback, couple of good running backs, 2 offensive linemen, including Joseph Ionata. There will be a few of these guys that will take part in the bowl prep, preparing for Michigan, and most importantly, the national championship as well. So we'll have everything suited up for you guys for signing day next week as Bama looks to keep everything in place here where this class is concerned. And also keep your eye on the transfer portal. Bama could dip into that as well. Could dip into that maybe for a defensive back, maybe for a defensive lineman. So keep your eyes also on the portal.
Steve
Coach
Brown,
EJ,
star.
Coach EJ Jr., I'm sure he can agree with what you just said, though, Steve. Those stars don't mean nothing on paper because I'm sure Coach Jr. has seen them. You get on this field and you were rated what? That don't add no. Show me on the field.
Steve Brown, apparently your star power didn't mean anything to Marvin because he straight up interrupted your opportunity.
Hey, listen, Justin, we need to find him and the other Steve for these non-compliant shirts they have on.
Hey, man, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hey, so, hey, man, guys, listen. Y'all make sure y'all come back to the Bama Standard and just check us all out, man. I'm having a blast. Make sure you share, tag, invite everybody. Let them know about the Bama Standard. We're growing. We appreciate you guys. Also, you can follow me on my Facebook fan page, Comedian Steve Brown fan page. It's simple as that, Comedian Steve Brown. Also, follow me on Instagram, Comic Steve Brown. And that is it. And from here on out, I think you see me only on the Bama Standard because I'm chilling. I'm just getting ready for these bowl games. That's it. Let's roll the tide, baby.
While you're chilling, go get a birthday cake for Jalen Milroe. Tomorrow is that young man's birthday. So everybody wish that man a happy birthday on social media and wherever you can find him tomorrow. He's the king of this great team of ours. EJ, we greatly appreciate you being here with us, man. It's always a blast, and there's always too much of a gap between when we see you. But tell folks how they can find you, what you got coming up next, and then we'll close.
Well, I'm in the great state of South Carolina as the linebacker for Mellon coach, but I'm taking my talents to Atlanta, Georgia with Coach Teddy Keaton, who's a Stillman former coach and LC coach, and taking my talent to Clark Atlanta to be their linebacker coach. I can be found on Twitter on @E_. I can be found on Facebook because I do daily inspirationals to continue to try to encourage through God's word throughout the country. And I can be found on Instagram under Force5439.
That's what's up. We greatly appreciate you being on with us. We appreciate Tim Keenan for being with us the first part of the evening. And also a special shout out to the folks who made it happen with the Alabama Athletic Department, Josh Maxson and Alex Thompson. We greatly appreciate you helping us out and making this happen for us. Great show, everybody. Y'all stay tuned. We got a lot of content coming your way leading up to this first round of the playoffs. Until you see us again, roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Rolling.